y'all? Inform with Do Your Work, and today I'm coming to you live with another YouTube video. We're gonna pause the lock stuff and talk a little bit about friendships. So 6 reasons you may not have friends and what you can do about it. So reason number 1, you have no interests, no hobbies, no passions. I said what I said. I remember when my stepbrother Emil, when I first started my healing journey, he was like, so what do you like to do outside of brunch and day parties? And I was like, wait, what? I never gave any thought to that at all. And that was very telling. I had to sit back and reflect and be like, hey, what do I like to do? How do I like to spend my unoccupied free time? And stuff got real. It got real. I'm like, dang, I gotta learn myself a little bit deeper. I gotta know myself a little bit deeper. What gives me pleasure? What are simple pleasures that I can do? Do I like tea or do I like coffee? What kind of music do I like? Where can I go by myself and feel completely safe, completely comfortable? What activities do I like to do? Do I like pottery? Have I tried pottery to know if I like it? Do I like gardening? Do I like reading? What kind of books would I like to read if I like reading? You know what I mean? So really understanding yourself at the microscopic level. How do I like to spend my free time? What gives me pleasure? And so when you don't know the aspect of yourself, what happens is that you come into alignment with other people that do not know that aspect of themselves. And you are developing this false bond. You think that, oh, we're cool, we're vibing, we're kicking it. When in reality, you can't have a true bond if you don't know yourself. If you don't know what makes you happy. If you don't know how to keep yourself happy without anyone else present. And you're coming to alignment with people that don't know how to do that either. And you're bonding off of things that are probably not important. And so you look up 6 months down the line, a year down the line, 2 years down the line, and those friendships have fizzled because they're unintentional in the first place. So that's reason number 1. Get you some hobbies. Spend a weekend just exploring your city. Spend a weekend doing self-care. Spend a weekend reading a non-fictional or a fictional book. Just really get in touch with who you are and what you like to do. Reason number 2 is that you probably have a friendship wound. And by friendship wound, I mean friendship is on a continuum, right? So you have the wounds that are the hyper independent people. These are your loners. These are the people that are like, I prefer to be alone. Girl, no, you don't. Somewhere along the way, you learn that it was unsafe to have friends. So if I develop this community, they're going to eventually leave me. If I develop this community, they're going to eventually let me down. If I don't even deserve this community, so I'm going to self-isolate, and isolation becomes your home. And so you look up and you're completely by yourself, and you don't have friends because you have a friendship wound, an unaddressed friendship wound that you haven't really unpacked. So take some time and journal it out, talk through it with a family member, and come up with creative ways to dissolve that wound. And then on the other end of the continuum, you have the people that are overly dependent. So they're like, I need community. Like, my life is not important without friends. Validate me, love me, validate my existence. And those people come off needy. And so you have 2 types of friendship wounds going on. And I see it so often. And usually both types end up incredibly alone and then incredibly lonely. So dissolving those friendship wounds, talking through it with a therapist, journaling your emotions, educating yourself on inner child wounds that you need to address, going through your family history, your traumas, all of that, and dissolving those so you can have community. The third reason that I have is that you may not know how to be a friend. You may not know how to be a friend. I think that a lot of people think that they're bomb-ass friends, when in reality, we suck. We be out here stinking up the joint, out here acting poo, And so when I say, we don't know how to be a good friend, it could be one of those situations where you have phenomenal people right in front of you and you're not appreciative of them at all. It could be one of those things where You show up, but when you show up, you're not all the way present. You're not utilizing active listening skills. It could be that you're emotionally unstable. You don't know how to manage your emotions effectively, and you come off just, somebody called me a ticking time bomb once, and I was like, damn, I agree. So it could just be that, like, you know, you don't know how to be a friend. It could be that you are an invalidator. You invalidate the emotions of the people around you, and it's hard to talk to you because you're going to be like, that doesn't matter. I don't see that. I'm cool on that. It could be that you don't honor the boundaries that people set. There's so many things, and oftentimes we think that we're this premier friend when in reality we suck. And so one thing that I started doing was like writing down like friendship qualities that I would want someone else to be for me. And I took the initiative and I did it for someone else. Because, you know, everything is a mirror. You show up a phenomenal person, a phenomenal human, a phenomenal friend, you'll get that in return. And you may not get that from that particular friendship per se, but you'll get that energy will be returned in some way, shape, or form. So just spending time learning and educating yourself on how to truly be a good friend. And then reason number 4 is that, and you may not have created the space. And when I say create the space, I mean creating the physical space. So maybe you're a single mom and you're trying to figure out, dang, like, how do I get my kids to work? And how do I do, you know, pay the bills and do all of this stuff? And oh, by the way, I got to figure out how to make some friends up in there too. So creating the space, getting into your routine. Maybe you have only been focused on your career for the past 5 years, and you look up and you're like, hey, I'm this senior manager and I'm making the dollar amount that I want to make, but I don't have a community to share these experiences with. So pausing some of the career stuff. I don't need that certification. I don't have to take on that project. I'm gonna invest in some friendships and building and developing and cultivating friendships. So creating the physical space, creating the energetic space, creating the spiritual space. Do you have the spiritual, emotional, and mental capacity to take on another relationship? And if you don't, and you desire another relationship, what can I shave off? What can I shave off? How can I show up more emotionally available or emotionally vulnerable, and having those honest conversations with self? So creating the space, creating that energetic space, that physical space for someone else to occupy it, essentially. And then reason 5 might be, you could just be a bad conflict manager. I mean, like, you know, kind of tying this back to the relational wound, like, you are who your family was. So if effective conflict management wasn't modeled in your household, guess what you're gonna show up with? Poor conflict management skills. You're gonna have poor conflict management skills in any type of relationship, whether it be platonic, whether it be romantic. You gotta have, you have to have conflict management. And so you could be the person that is emotionally weak. They don't know how to manage those emotions, and you overflow. You overflow with emotions, and you lash out, and you say things that you don't mean. You don't have that emotional muscle, and you lose friends because of it. It could be you're an arguer. I was an arguer. I was someone that I couldn't manage my emotions. I didn't know how to say, like, hey, listen, I'm really pissed off at you, so I'm not going to talk to you until I'm no longer pissed off. I'm going to take time. I'm going to get out in nature. I'm going to give it to God. I'm going to pray. I'm going to meditate on it. I'm going to journal it. I wasn't doing all that. I'm like, listen, girl, you got one more time to that. And next thing you know, an argument has started, right? So how do you develop your conflict management skills? And on the other end of the continuum, you could be a runner. Running is also evidence of poor conflict management. So you get into a little fight with your friend, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm cool on her. I don't want to be her friend no more. Girl, come on. We're adults, and we're just getting to that age where you got to value people. You can't just throw people away. And if you do have that desire to get rid of people at the point of contact, then you have unpacking to do. why is that? You know, so spending time like talking through it with like your family, doing a family tree, doing a trauma tree, really understanding like, why am I abandoning relationships, or why am I sabotaging them? Why am I, you know, losing people? And then the last one is that you might just be in a period of transition. And so if you're doing all the right things, hey sis, I'm a good person, I'm a good friend, I know who I am, I've dealt with my trauma and my wounds, and I'm actively taking the steps to manage that, then you could seriously just be in a transitional period. And I love the transitional period because cycles are truly closing out. Like, this cycle has closed, this cycle has closed, this cycle has closed. And you don't have your tribe just yet. And there's that, you know, that weird in between time. And that time is beautiful. That time is time where you really commit to your hobbies. You really learn to love yourself. You really learn self-trust. You really know how to be in your own presence. Make yourself happy. Just date yourself. Have fun with yourself. Be your own best friend. So there, you know, the fluffy stuff, you're like, all right, Lauren, get to the real. Manifest, you know, call in. Like, if you've done all the work, call in and be grateful in the moment. Call in and be grateful. So write down the characteristics of what your tribe looks like, what your community looks like, and then call in those people. Create the space for those people, and just be happy until those people, you know, materialize into your physical world. So that's all that I have on why you might not have friends and what you can do about it. So what I am going to do is go ahead and drop my Instagram down below. So please follow, subscribe, all of that. And I will continue to keep you posted with my life journey, but then also just life stuff, like relationship stuff, guy stuff, all of that.